Hello YouTube and welcome to episode 3 of the Arsenal Kid HD YouTube channel Match Reviews. Match Reviews, Arsenal news and all the transfer gossip. Today I'm bringing you my review of the Champions or Charity Shield finals, in which Arsenal demolished the reigning Premier League champions Manchester City 3 goals 2-0. Let's get stuck in. So of course, by most fans this is an unexpected victory. Most Arsenal fans, anybody that did think Arsenal win, did probably not predict that it would be by this much, and most Manchester City fans probably didn't predict that they would lose this game at all. But of course, in the end, the great Arsenal came out as victors in a 3-0 victory, the goal scorers being Santi Cazorla, Aaron Ramsey, and big Olivier Giroud, delivering the goods. So, from the offset, Arsenal really did dominate the midfield. Ramsey, Arteta and Santi and Wilshere overpowered the Manchester City midfield with ease. We were passing the ball very fluidly, very quick. We were being very aggressive in tackles, which is something that you usually don't see against Arsenal. And it's refreshing to see Arsenal put in a top performance against one of the top 5 clubs in the Premier League. Because, as you know, last season we really didn't perform well against them, having big defeats against Manchester City, Liverpool, Chelsea, and bad performances against Manchester United. So for Arsenal fans, a score like this against a team like Man City, usually we really should be giving them a tight game. Last season we really didn't, we were getting thrashed, and it's nice to see us be on the winning end for once against one of these top 5 Premier League teams. So of course the Charity Shield isn't the most, or Community Shield is charity or community, I can't remember. Of course it isn't really the most prestigious trophy, but nonetheless it is a trophy. The players do get medals and it will go into our trophy cabinet at the end of the day. Because of the way that Manchester City played, being very lethargic and very complacent, would suggest that they didn't care for much for this trophy. But if that is the case, the Arsenal fans were the polar opposite. Not Arsenal fans, the Arsenal team, and I guess you could say the Arsenal fans were a complete polar opposite. We looked like we really wanted it. When the players eventually won and lifted it, they seemed very happy. We seemed very optimistic from the offset, and it is really refreshing to see an Arsenal side like this absolutely demolish a big team like Manchester City, whether it be in as a pre-season friendly or a title decider. It is still a great sight and a great victory for the club and the fans. So as I hinted before, it didn't seem like Manchester City didn't really care, and the fans weren't really that good either. Compared to the Arsenal support, they were quite poor. They didn't cheer much, they weren't really singing. The stadium was dominated by the voices of the Arsenal fans singing various chants. The Arsenal players did boo Sami Nasri, not the Arsenal players, the Arsenal fans, they did boo and heckle Sami Nasri. And Arsenal, I tend to think of Arsenal as quite a classy club, and for a transfer that happened 3 or 4 seasons ago, I think, I don't think it is appropriate for us to boo him. But there are words. I don't like Sami Nasri. I think the way that he left the club was appalling, but I think that Arsenal as a club and Arsenal fans were a bit more classy than that to be booing the player every time he touched the ball. So as you can see, I have the player ratings for Arsenal. In goal, Szczesny 8 out of 10. Well, actually, our starting XI, we had Szczesny in goal, Debussy and Gibbs as fullbacks, Chambers and Koscielny as centre-halves, Arteta just sitting in front of the back four, Sanchez and Cazorla on the wings. I'm not sure which was on the left and which was on the right. All I know is that they were the wingers. Ramsey and Wilshere in the middle, and Sonogo leading the line up front. Player ratings, I've given Szczesny an 8 out of 10. He pulled off some really nice saves, and he was a contender for man of the match, which we'll get onto later. He did seem to pick up a knock once or twice, by once bumping into Scott Sinclair, and the other time I can't remember who it was. It may have been Dzeko or Jovetic. I've given Debussy and Gibbs both 8 out of 10. I thought they were really, really good, especially Debussy, for someone who's only played about 3 games, I think it is now, or 2 games actually, I think it is now for Arsenal. He's been absolutely brilliant, and he looks like he will be a contender for team of the season at that right back spot for the coming season. And Gibbs, as always, he was composed, he was quick. there was one moment where he outpaced Jesus Navas, which is a really hard thing to do as he is one of the quickest players in the league, but Gibbs easily breezed past him. Chambers 8 out of 10, and again I thought he was fantastic, and for a 19-year-old he seems so confident, and for someone who we can have for another 10 seasons, when you think about that, the way he's playing now, he could honestly go on to be one of the best defenders in the league in the coming seasons. Koscielny 7.5 out of 10. Now the reason I've given him lower than the others is because I didn't really see him do much, but he was fairly good. Arteta 7 out of 10. He committed a few fouls. Bear in mind they were tactical fouls, but they were fouls nonetheless. And he did seem a bit slow. I think we do need to invest in a new CDM. Sanchez 7.5 out of 10. I just wish that he wasn't so shy in front of goal. I wish he would take a few more shots. Because as the old saying goes, you're never going to score if you don't shoot. And I wish that he would just be a bit more greedy. But he was fantastic. Ramsey 8.5 out of 10. What can I say? Another fantastic performance. Wilshere, I'm fed up of saying this. I don't like Wilshere as a player. I think he's always on the floor. I think he's too weak. And I think he's severely overrated. He is a good player, but I think he's overrated. Because all at 8 out of 10. Fantastic goal. Played really well. And Sonogo 7 out of 10. Obviously did get the assist. Now, Man City standout players. Jovetic, I thought he played quite well considering the way the other players played. I gave him a 6 out of 10. He seemed pacey. He seemed like he had a thirst for goal. And I think that he will be one to watch out for in the coming season if he doesn't get injured. Boyata, the young Man City defender. Now, this lad, he looks like a really hot prospect for the future. He's big, he's tall, he's strong. And I think had he been playing next to someone else, then he would have done really well. And Yaya Toure, 5.5 out of 10. He was for a player like Yaya Toure, that was an actually terrible performance, and you didn't see like he cared at all, which was a bit insulting. But it's up to them how they decide to play, and if they don't seem to care for it much, then I can't really say anything about that. Arsenal standout players, Debussy, as I said before, he was really good play, bombing down the wings, really great defensive work, showed a lot of strength. And Ramsey dominated the midfield, and again, another superior performance for Jack Wilshere. 2 or 3 seasons ago, we were always talking about Jack Wilshere, how he was going to be the next greatest thing in football when he showed up against Barcelona. And Ramsey was always living in his shadow, but now Wilshere's living in Ramsey's shadow, and Ramsey's taking full advantage of it. Another fantastic performance. Szczesny, if he played like he played in this game for the rest of the season, then I think he'll go on to be one of the best goalkeepers in the league, maybe even the world, because he was fantastic. He was brave. He jumped really high. He caught, his handling was brilliant. His reflexes were really good, and he had a lot of strength behind the ball. And my man of the match, Callum Chambers. Again, he's only 19 years old. He's playing out of his favoured position. He's playing in a position that he can play, not one that he really enjoys playing in. But he did it again fantastically. And a lot of fans are saying that we need another centre-back because our club captain, Thomas Vermaelen, just left for Barcelona for 15 million. But I think that we should focus on spending all our remaining transfer budget on a CDM and use Callum Chambers as our backup centre-back because he was fantastic. So that will bring an end to the video. I did notice time was, we were approaching 10 minutes, so this video was going to be much longer, but I didn't want to bore you guys. So in the end, it was a nice solid performance from Arsenal. Really refreshing to see us perform that well against a top tier club. And it just gives the fans even more optimism for the coming season. And I really think that we can mount a serious title challenge. And I can't see us finishing the season without a bit of silverware. So anyway, remember, like, subscribe, comment, keep it locked with Arsenal Kid TV for more match reviews, Arsenal news and all the transfer gossip. Cheers for watching and goodbye. Up the Arsenal!